Upon arrival, your gaze is immediately captured by the majestic silhouette of the Amber Fort, which stands imposingly on the hill and is gracefully reflected in the tranquil waters of the Maota Lake. A little higher up, almost as if watching over the entire complex, the Jaigarh Fort stands solemnly, a strategic defensive structure connected to the royal palace by a secret underground tunnel, an ingenious escape route designed to save the Maharajas of Rajasthan in case of attack. Amber Fort owes its name to the characteristic yellow-orange color of its walls, which seem to light up under the sunlight, giving the fortress an almost mystical aura. The result of 138 years of construction under the reign of various rulers, it represents one of the finest examples of Rajput architecture fused with Mughal influences. Among the most scenic and evocative experiences offered by the visit is the possibility of climbing up to the fort on an elephant, slowly climbing the slope that leads to the main gate. The elephants, decorated with colorful paintings and traditional fabrics, seem to have stepped out of a royal tale and allow visitors a unique perspective of the surrounding landscape. Crenellated walls, hidden courtyards, and hills as far as the eye can see. However, this tourist attraction raises inevitable ethical reflections related to animal welfare, pushing more and more people to choose to climb on foot, an alternative that offers just as many emotions, if not more, thanks to the possibility of capturing unusual angles and different perspectives for photographs and videos, plays of light on the walls, and more intimate moments of observation of the context. And, last but not least, that of having the elephants themselves as subjects. Precisely in response to these requests, a new regulation has been introduced to protect elephants, limiting the number of daily trips and limiting them to a single route, exclusively uphill. A compromise between tradition and awareness, which allows to preserve the charm of the experience while respecting animals. In any case, whether you choose the regal ascent on an elephant or the challenging climb on foot, the Amber Fort welcomes visitors with the solemnity and splendor of an era that still lives within its walls. We entered the first courtyard of the Amber Fort through the Sun Gate, the main entrance, walking alongside a majestic elephant that continued its journey with a slow and regal pace, carrying two enthusiastic tourists, intent on taking last selfies before being delicately placed on a raised platform. Standing sentinel on either side of the door, two ancient cannons dominated the scene, symbols of a glorious past made of wars and triumphs. It was there that we first met a young, elegantly dressed couple who had chosen the timeless enchantment of the fort to immortalize the most romantic moments of their wedding, a natural setting where history and love blend perfectly. The first courtyard, large and airy, was once the stage for military parades in honor of victorious armies, secretly observed by the women of the royal family, hidden behind the finely crafted grates of the upper windows. Climbing the monumental staircase, we found ourselves in front of the suggestive Lion's Gate, decorated with refined frescoes and surmounted by a solid wooden door, which retains all the charm of the time. Once you have passed the ticket control, you enter the second courtyard, where a panoramic balcony welcomes you. From here, you can enjoy a spectacular view of the bustle of the courtyard below. Right on this terrace, another married couple exchanged a tender look and a bright smile, adding a touch of poetry to a place that continues to tell stories of power, beauty, and today also of love. The large courtyard is animated by the comings and goings of elephants, some ascending carrying visitors, others descending lightly, displaying hand-painted motifs on their heads, ears, and trunks, true works of art in motion that, in the scenographic context of the fort, transform into unforgettable details. The second courtyard of the Amber Fort houses one of the most fascinating areas of the palace. The magnificent hall of public audiences, an imposing space designed to celebrate the power and justice of the sovereign. Built as a raised platform, it is supported by 27 red sandstone columns, each elegantly topped with capitals carved in the shape of elephants, symbols of strength and wisdom. Here, in times long gone, the Raja received his subjects, listened to their requests, and administered justice. A theater of royalty that continues to amaze today with its beauty and architectural harmony. From the colonnade, the view opens onto the parade ground below, where you can observe the incessant coming and going of the elephants, silent protagonists of this enchanted place, which climb towards the heart of the fort between shots and smiles. Among the columns, bringing the scene to life, some cleaning ladies move gracefully, wrapped in brightly colored saris that shine in the daylight, transforming them into choreographic figures, so much so that they are often stopped for a photo, unaware muses of travelers and photographers. Arriving in the colonnade unleashes an inevitable photographic frenzy. Every corner seems made to be immortalized. Every detail invites a shot. And it is precisely here that our newlyweds in traditional clothes, followed by a tireless Bollywood-style crew, were put to the test between poses, smiles, and requests for perfect shots, transforming the visit into an open-air set where history and cinema meet between natural light and timeless charm. The third courtyard of the Amber Fort is accessed through the evocative Ganesh Gate, a three-tiered structure that immediately enchants the eye with its vivid frescoes, finely crafted mosaics, and meticulous sculptures that tell the refined aesthetics of the royal court. Climbing the steps, among groups of tourists intent on immortalizing the moment with the classic souvenir photo, you can see the figure of the god Ganesh, benevolent and silent, who observes the visitors from the top of the portal, as if to wish good luck to those who enter. As soon as we cross the threshold, a green oasis surprises us. The geometric gardens of the central courtyard open up with their elegance, but the gaze is immediately captured by the true jewel of the place, the Sheesh Mahal, the famous palace of mirrors. Its magic is revealed step by step, starting from the famous magic flower, sculpted at the base of a pillar, a work of art in white marble that hides 7 different images inside, visible only by obscuring certain parts with your hands. A visual game that surprises and entertains. But it is when you look up that you are truly left breathless. The walls inlaid with very fine glass and the ceilings covered with convex mirrors transform the environment into an almost dreamlike place. The craftsmen who created it in the 17th century designed every detail so that a single flame could illuminate the entire room, multiplying infinitely among flickering reflections, like in a night sky studded with stars. It is easy today to be enchanted by such beauty in the sunlight, but imagining it lit only by candles on a courtly night makes it all the more fairy tale-like. After all, it could not have been otherwise. This courtyard was reserved for the private life of the Maharaja, and every element, from the scented mobile gardens to the gushing fountains, from the decorated pavilions to the rooms overlooking the valley, reflects the luxury and refinement of a royalty that wanted to amaze, thrill, and seduce. It is no coincidence that it is here that we meet our newlywed couple again, immersed in a romantic photographic ritual between smiles and knowing glances, following the tireless directives of demanding filmmakers who seek the perfect light, the ideal shot. All around, the gentle sound of the water and the light playing with the mirrors make every moment a dream scene. From the balcony and through the grates above the Ganesh Gate, the view opens on one side onto the orderly greenery of the gardens below and tells of refined geometries and a culture that has always known how to intertwine power and beauty. On the other, onto the public audience hall and the parade ground that reveal themselves in all their grandeur. After admiring the glittering hall of mirrors, the route took us along the refined Mughal garden and its gushing fountains, until reaching the private apartments of the Maharaja, immersed in an atmosphere of regal tranquility. From the balconies and panoramic terraces, the gaze extends to the valley below, dotted with ancient walls and Nero face, Intello monkeys, curious and silent presences that remind us how India knows how to mix the sacred, nature, and everyday life. Among the most suggestive views are the one on Lake Maota, which reflects the walls of the fort like a mirror, and on the garden island that seems to float on its calm waters. Legend has it that it was a 15th century Maharaja who had saffron planted here, the royal spice par excellence, a symbol of luxury and devotion. From above, the star-shaped design that recurs in the garden paths becomes clearly legible, almost an architectural seal of beauty and symmetry. Moving towards the Sukh Mahal, or Hall of Delights, we are welcomed by the remarkable sandalwood door with marble inlays and the canal where running water flows through the building, keeping it cool, as if it were an air-conditioned environment, reminding us that here every detail was also designed for sensory well-being. Through a long and narrow corridor, we finally reached the oldest part of the fort, built over a period of 25 years and completed in 1599 under the reign of the great Rajaman Singh. Here, in the heart of the central courtyard, stand a magnificent Baradari, a square pavilion with 12 doors, 3 on each side, designed to ensure perfect ventilation. In addition to functionality, these spaces were designed for culture. Equipped with extraordinary acoustics, they hosted private concerts, dance performances, and poetry recited for the royal elite. Even today, on the ceiling you can still see the iron rings from which elegant swinging seats were suspended, perfect for facing the summer heat with grace. All around, the rooms of the Zenana unfold, the area reserved for the women of the court, mothers, wives, and concubines of the Maharaja. Spirituality was also cultivated within these discreet walls, as evidenced by the presence of a tulsi plant, the Indian sacred basil, a plant with multiple meanings in Hindu culture. Considered the mother medicine and a symbol of the connection between heaven and earth, tulsi was used for daily rituals and prayers, making these spaces not only private, but also sacred. A small detail which tells of the intimacy and devotion of a royal life, as sumptuous as it was deeply spiritual. Once past the majestic Tripolia Gate, which opens in 3 directions, we immersed ourselves once again in the vibrant heart of the Amber Fort. Crossing the first large courtyard, our gaze was immediately captured by the lively scene of a large group of elephants crowded in front of the Sun Gate, ready to conclude their journey. There is something deeply hypnotic in watching these imposing animals parade in procession, adorned with floral motifs, tribal designs, and bright colors, with decorated fabrics around their necks, jingling bells, and glittering accessories. Seeing them so close up was a unique opportunity to capture the minute details of their decoration and to perceive their noble meekness up close. Gentle giants who, with a slow and regal step, give the fort an aura of fairy tale and solemnity. Along the way down, some artisan stalls tempted us with local sweets and fresh flower crowns, which added a fragrant touch to our walk. Immediately afterwards, the ancient and poignant melody of a traditional Indian string instrument accompanied our steps for a while. Even on the way down, our eyes continued to wander along the mighty lines of the Amber Fort, discovering architectural details that we had missed on the way up, such as doors and windows set like gems or precisely carved friezes. Almost at the end of the trail, a splendid view of the garden of the island connected to the fort opened up before us. Gushing fountains, green geometries, and an aura of legend in the middle of Lake Maota, the main water reserve of the Amber Fort. While we wait for our bus, we realize that what remains with us after the visit to the Amber Fort is an intense sensory experience, made of colors, sounds, scents, and looks that tell the story, the richness, the complexity, and the cultural depth of a fascinating and legendary India. Around us, jeeps and tireless vendors move in a continuous coming and going. The former ready to take the new arrivals up the hills to the Jaigarh and Amber Forts, the latter faithful into the last meter in the hope of selling a last souvenir before leaving.